Hello, and welcome to Hold the Pass, a podcast all about passing on knowledge, information, and experiences in the motorsport and sports world among friends. My name is Misha.
And my name is Fatima.
And today our guest is someone who breathes life into every single story she tells. She combines her love of sports, pop culture, fashion, and of course, racing to create content that is so relatable and engaging and informative. She has built a massive platform for herself from the ground up and has fostered an amazing community in the motorsport fan space. Welcome to the show, Tasia Johnson.
Hi guys, excited to be here.
We're so happy to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited. Let's get down to it. Ask me whatever. Nothing's off limits.
Yes, excellent. Before we get into the weeds of it, just like, how have you been? How's the beginning of the racing season been for you? How's life been?
It's been good. 2026 has been, I feel like, very interesting as like, you know, a motorsports fan. I'm a motorsports fan, but like Formula One was really like, has always been like my first love. And with everything that has kind of changed this year, it's been very, I don't know, interesting. Like that's just, I feel like how I've been describing it. I was talking to a friend just yesterday and kind of how we were saying that Formula One has been, because I'm into a lot of sports, and Formula One has been like my comfort sport for the last, since I've been a fan for 6 years. And with so much changing, I feel like it's a little chaotic and things just feel very different. So 2026 feels a little chaotic. I just celebrated a birthday. Like I'm in my late 20s now. I love it. Like I'm excited to age. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a blessing. So, but just with like lots of change, I'm like my little comfort, you know, I'm a comfort show girl as well. Like all the TV shows that I'm watching all the time are like shows I've rewatched 10 times. So like with Formula One changing so much this year and just there's just a lot going on, I'm like, I don't know. My little comfort sport has changed up. It's a little different. So yeah, that's like, I don't know, a little bit of how I'm thinking, how I'm going into, how am feeling right now with 2026 and, you know, the F1 of it all.
I agree. I'm like it's not been averse to change, but like I like comfort a lot also. And I feel like with the way the season started and then we are obviously on like a break, it's like I need things to be in order so I can feel like me again. And of course with like the changes of regulations, like we barely understand them because we haven't really raced also on top of that.
Right.
Yeah. It's been a really crazy start to the season. Very, very different, lots of shakeups.
But you know, this is not all about Formula One. We kind of want to know a bit more about you. So I know we talked a little bit about you being in New York. So we're based in the Toronto region. Same kind of, same vibes, weather-wise and everything else. But I kind of want to know, because this is something that I'm so curious about. You made the move to New York a few years ago to essentially, I guess, pursue your dream as a creator. From my understanding, you left your full-time job with the support of your partner. You became a full-time creator. Can you tell us a bit more about that journey and what pushed you to make that leap?
Yeah, so I actually moved to New York during the pandemic, which was a whirlwind. I graduated, so that's 6 years ago. My 6-year New York anniversary is May 10th, so it's coming up. So I moved about 6 years ago, and I graduated in May 2020, which like in March, we knew that we weren't going back to school. So I kind of was just like, am I going to make the move still? Or like, can I move to New York? And it was kind of just like, I was just waiting to see if I could, like what, you know, New York City was saying. And that's when flights, you know, were starting to happen again, but it was very, you know, sparse, had the whole road to myself, that sort of thing. So I packed like 7 suitcases, which was too much. And I just moved to New York because I was like, if I don't do it now, I never will. I majored in musical theater, so I've always loved New York. I was actually coming up to New York like every month, once a month at least for like a year before I graduated because I was auditioning. I actually like booked a show and I was supposed to start in April of 2020, but then, you know, everything closed down. So like yeah, it was just, I feel like my whole like trajectory kind of shifted because I was like, well, theater isn't really happening for me right now, but I still want to move to New York. And I've always been a social media girl. I went to TCU, and even there, I was on the TCU social media team, and I covered sports on Snapchat and Instagram and sometimes Facebook. So I covered football, basketball, and then some theater things. So I've always been an online girl, always super been into like just posting everything. I love to overshare. I probably share too much, whatever. So I moved here and I was just working in retail because I'd worked in retail while I was in college to make extra money. And then I met my wife around almost around a year of being here. And they're like the best person ever. And it was like the best thing that's ever happened to me. Yada, 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 boring, blah, blah, blah. But so yeah, I met my wife and I was still working in retail, and it was around 2023. So we'd been together for 2 years at that point, that I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's not joyful for me. I'm on my feet all day, and like, I'm a very active person, but it was just like, it was just toxic, and it was bad on my body, bad on my mental health, yada, yada. So I I was like, could I quit my job and just try to do content full time? Because I was doing content part time and I was getting invited to some fun events, yada, yada. And I was like, I know that I could do more if I had more time to dedicate to this. And my wife was like, sure, I'm going to have to pick up another job, but sure. And I truly like just can't thank them enough because I mean, my wife worked essentially like 60 hours a week for me to be able to pursue this dream that I had. And like, I say that and people are like, oh, okay, like they had money, like it was fine. Like, no, my wife had to really, really work hard for me to be able to do it. So I'm just super thankful. And like, anytime I get like any sort of brand deal now, like I'm always like, it's all because of them. Like they like sacrifice so much for me to be able to like live this dream of like a brand flying me to a Formula One trip. Like it's just like it, and it's not lost on me that it is like just the experience of a lifetime. And so I decided to pivot to social media in March of 2023, but I started my F1 centered account in December of 2023, and that's really when everything took off for me. So 2024 was the first year that I made money, like a livable wage off of content creation. It was around like 50K, nothing crazy. And then 2025 was my real first year of like, I think I got it right. I got it down. Like I've managed the brand relationships. I know what it's like to like do an invoice. I know what it's like to circle back. Hey, I love doing this campaign with you guys. Do you have anything else that you'd like to work on? I can give you this. Like I learned what it's like to pitch myself. And last year my salary was around like 85K. So, and then, you know, you take in taxes and all that, probably after taxes, like 60K. So, you know, it's a learning curve. I'm still learning. I'm definitely not like, I'm no Alex Earl, but I love my community, my brand, and my page, and just like everything that I do has been very community focused. And then also just trying to stay true to who I am and my experience and show up to all of these things as like me. So long story short, that's my little spiel about me moving to New York and kind of how I pivoted into full-time content.
That's incredible, and I really like that you talked at the end about the community that you built, and your wife is part of that community, and I think it's so wonderful to see how much support you have, both from your family and from the people that watch your content. And it actually makes me think of so many of the drivers that we know and love, especially the ones that don't come from money. Like they've also had to struggle, and their families have had to make sacrifices.
Yep.
It's a very human and a very relatable experience. And yeah, just all the shout outs to your partner and obviously to you, but yeah. But talking about your social media presence, what I really like, and I think Fatima too, what we really love about your online presence and your posts is the amount of creativity behind them. Everything from the longer videos, the shorter videos, the carousels, the photo based posts. Each one of them is so cool and unique and creative. I wanted to ask, where did your passion for content creation and all of this inspiration, where does that spark from?
Honestly, no. I was gonna say I don't know. This is gonna sound so cheesy, but Gossip Girl,
Period.
and also Sex and the City. Those are like two of my favorite shows ever. And I think about the lives that like the women in Sex and the City get to live, and everything is just so fabulous. And like I've just always loved social media, like I said, and I've always seen like these spaces that I want to be in, these things that I want to do. I'm like, social media is going to be my way in. Like, that's my vessel into, all the things I want to do. So I just try to think, and I majored in musical theater. So naturally, I'm just a very creative person. I don't know, I'm always just thinking of things, and I'm always really inspired by other people. So I think when it comes to what can I do next, how can I keep moving, like I'm always thinking of like, what's the next thing? What's something else I can do? Or like, what are other people that I'm inspired by? What are they doing? And how can I make that my own? And, I think about these amazing, like fabulous things I see in my favorite TV shows. And I kind of like, I don't know, let that inspire me as well. But really like, I am super, super inspired by other creators. I can't remember I was on some trip with a lot of other creators recently, or maybe it was at the end of 2025. And I just felt like I was like learning so much from other creators. And that's when honestly I feel the most inspired, when I can see other creators work and what they do and how they edit, like what their process is. It is one of the coolest things ever. Like so, so cool to watch people at the end of an event and we're all going back to our hotel or whatever, and everyone's just like editing. You see like what their process is, like have they taken notes? Have they, like, it is just the coolest thing ever. So that also is like really, really inspiring for me, and where honestly, where a lot of my ideas come from. Like if something isn't working for me, like I kind of found out that like maybe reels aren't like my thing. I love making them, but maybe they're not the thing that's going to help me grow. And I saw another creator does a lot of carousels, and I was like, okay, let me try. And she uses a certain app. I use the app, and I've been stuck at the same following for forever. And I was like, I want to reach a new type of community. I want more people to keep finding me. And then I ended up gaining 4,000 followers from like doing the carousel. So like really learning from like other creators and like not being afraid to just like do something new comes from the TV shows I watch, my background in theater and creativity, and then just like really taking like inspiration from other people that like I really love watching.
I love that. I'm so obsessed with just like how you just made things work. Just to circle back to, moving to New York and then your comfort shows and getting inspiration from those. And then just like you're living your best New York life. And I love that so much. Like you don't even understand. Every single day I'm like, should I just move? Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. I honestly like get inspiration from seeing people do what I'm like, I should just do it. And I'm like, you're kind of selling me on this New York life. I'm not gonna lie.
You should. You should.
But
I tell everyone to move to New York.
because honestly, like every single time I go to New York, I'm like, this is it. This is it. I went to the Met and I was like, am I in Gossip Girl right now?
Wow.
I'm obsessed. But kind of going back to that being like your passions, and just like following, I guess, what your dreams are. From what we see on social media, you're heavily into fashion, and you mentioned sports, motorsport being one of them, as well as running. So these are three vastly different things, but three things that you've incorporated into your career and just who you are as a person. Can you kind of break down where your love for each of these three things stems from?
Yeah. So like I said, I worked in retail. So that was just like my first job when I was 16. I just have always I was raised by a single mother. My mom at one point was working 3 jobs to raise me, and my brother is 10 years older than me. So at the time she was putting him through college. And I've always seen my mom work really hard, and I knew that I wanted to work hard as soon as I turned 16. Like, I was very on top of like getting my first car and like getting a job. So I worked at Old Navy, and it's fast fashion, but like coming from like someone that doesn't come from a lot of money, like just being around clothes in general, I was very like starstruck. I just like loved it. So I think that's where my love of fashion came from. And moving to New York, everyone is so fashionable. Like, I definitely am even more inspired. Like, I'm just so inspired by humans. Like I've said, like, I think it's just like so cool seeing New York people live lives and seeing how they express themselves through clothing. So that is kind of how, like, where my passion for and my love for fashion has come. My passion for fashion, as they would say. I'm no fashionista. I mean, people would call me that, but I think my fashion is really just, I just wear what I feel super, super comfortable in and what I feel super cute in. Like, I'm not a layering girl. I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not one of those divas, but like, I love a cute dress and I know what looks good on me. And like, that's my fashion and I love it. My love for sports, I think, has just always been ingrained in me because I grew up in Texas. So I was born in Texas. So, big Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights is one of my favorite shows. And, just around football, all of that. Like, I was really raised on, like, being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And even growing up in, like, I grew up in Fort Worth. So, like, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Like, that's been, like, a huge culture thing in Texas. So I grew up right next to Texas Motor Speedway. So that was also just, like, always near me. And then I really got into F1 because I actually had a boyfriend before I met my wife. I had a boyfriend who was really into Drive to Survive and Lewis Hamilton. And I was like, wait, me too. Who is this man? I need to know him. Where can I meet him? Can't meet him. Not that simple. But that's when I got into Formula One. That was in 2020. And then, it's now my life and the main point of my content. But running was a weird one. That I don't know where that came from either. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know where that came from. I think for me, I've always been a super active person. I used to be in gymnastics when I was younger. I was a cheerleader. And then when I started doing theater, I was like, okay, this is my thing because it's acting, singing, and dancing. I had to do it all. That was pretty active as well. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always loved to be super active and I love fitness. And I was like, well, there's this really hard thing called running. I always said I'd never be a runner, but like, let me try. It looks fun. It's not fun. Newsflash. No. It's like terrible. It's like terrible. It's the worst thing ever, but like, I love it. It's just like the feeling of accomplishing something so hard and putting your body through like, I'm a slow runner too. And a lot of people really, I don't know if I can curse, but a lot of people shit on slow runners, especially, I don't know if you've seen the Nike ad that like everyone's flaming them for. It was like runners welcome, walkers like tolerated. And I'm a run walker. Like, I do intervals for an entire half marathon. I've done 3 half marathons, and like a lot of people can say that they've never even run 2 miles. So like, I just love the fact that I put myself through this really hard thing and I can do it. And then at the end, I'm like, I'm going to do another one. So I don't know. I don't know where running came from, but it's always really fun to work with running brands as well. So that also, like, I'm not going to lie, that was a huge motivation too, to like run. If someone's like, this amazing brand wants to work with you, like Maybelline wanted to work with me. And I was like, well, duh, like I love beauty. So of course, like I'm going to run a half marathon because Maybelline said, let's do it. So, but I also now run just for fun. Like it's not all work. Like I run for fun. So I don't know. I love it, weirdly enough, but it's like the most freeing thing ever. And I think just having more diverse bodies, diverse people in the wellness space is super important because we still have ads like that Nike ad. And it's important for people like that look like me to show up and to continue to like, take up space in, the wellness space.
Wholeheartedly. And shout out to you because I did a 5K last summer and I was done. I said, I'm never doing this again. It's like the practice to lead up to it. I was running every day and I was like, girl, what the hell?
Yeah.
What do you mean? But
The
you're so
training is insane. It's
it's
insane.
insane.
Yeah.
And like I watch your stories whenever you're running. I'm like, she's taking it. She's taking it. Because it's not easy, and like doing it for fun is a whole nother thing. But you're so right. Like, take up all that space. We need it. We need it desperately. And like, I'm sure there's so much people who look up to you and what you do, especially in that specific aspect of your career, and appreciate it so much.
That means a lot to me. That's like, you know, that's if I can inspire one person. I literally just got a DM this morning that was like, I signed up for a 5K. I was really inspired by you. Like that stuff, like seriously, I'm like, I love that. If you decided to move your body because I posted something, like I posted that I was going to Pilates and someone was like, okay, you made me get up out of bed and like go for a walk. And I'm like, that literally, that's like the best feeling ever. If someone's just inspired to like move their body and to do one thing that like makes them better than what they were yesterday or whatever, like that's like the best thing ever. Truly like better than any brand deal ever. Like if someone says that they did something because something that is going to make them better just because they saw me sharing a little bit of my life, like that's chef's kiss. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Pilates, like I've seen your Pilates slash F1, the events that you've hosted. Obviously, we're not in Toronto, so we weren't there, but maybe one day. And those look
Yes.
so fun. Those look
I'm
so fun.
so excited. It's going to be on Sunday. I'm very, very excited. My studio
Wow.
that I'm a member at, I was just like, would y'all be interested in this? And they were like, yeah. So I haven't told anyone this, but I'll tell you guys. We have the Cadillac F1 team is going to be helping me out with some gifting. So I'm so excited. So we have Cadillac in, we have Poppy in. I think Red Bull USA, like the can, the drink, not like Red Bull, the team.
Yeah.
They're also going to help out with a few things. And yeah, so a couple of other brands as well. But I'm really excited for just like people to come together. And my events are strictly, I always like to say, like it is for women and gender queer people. I'm just excited for them to come together. We all have a love of F1. Some people are coming who don't know anything about F1, but they're like, I love Pilates and I love your energy. Like I'm down to meet other people that, you know, are kind of in the same boat. So I'm so excited and I can't wait. These are the kind of like big scale events that I've been wanting to do, that I've been just like dying to do. So I'm happy that I just put it out there and it ended up doing so much better than I thought. So I had to add a second class. So I'm very, very excited. It's going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. I want to be
I
there. That's
know.
so exciting. And congrats on the deals with Cadillac and Red Bull and Poppy as well. That's going to be so exciting for all the people. I have a quick question. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know that you like to host events from what I've seen. How did you get into that? Are you just like, do you have a passion for just like hosting others in your personal life as
Yes.
well? Or is it just something you like to know? Okay, there we go. Yeah.
I just like to host people. I had to like put myself on a pause when we moved into this really small apartment because we used to have a 2 bedroom and it was like a lot bigger. And it honestly stressed my wife out because my wife is not that like social of a person. Like when they say opposites attract, it's very, very true. Like I'm very like, I love to host and my wife is like, I would rather not. Like we could just not do that. But it brings me so much joy. I love to, you know, have an event. And if I'm having something at the house, like we host a murder mystery party for Halloween every year. Like I like hire someone to write everyone's characters. Like I deliver it to everyone. Like I'm just like, I'm a freak of nature. I love it. I love hosting.
Oh my
Anything
God.
I can host, the better. I've hosted like coffee hours, like so we have a latte machine, and my wife used to be a barista. So like Molly will make all the coffees, like everyone can order a specialty latte and like we just chat. Like I just like to be around community and to make people feel cozy and at home. So that's always been like I don't know, one of my favorite things ever.
Oh my God, that sounds Fatima, we're moving to New York.
Yes. I mean, I'm hoping
We're moving to New York. You said coffee and like that's my heart. Like it's Formula One and coffee.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's honestly like that's my wife's brand. Like they became a big Formula One fan when they met me, and they love coffee. They were barista for 11 years, and that
Oh,
was the
wow.
second job that they picked back up when, they needed to work two jobs so that I could, do this. So they were a barista on the weekends and then worked in recruiting finance during the week. So yeah, we love coffee in this house. We live right above a coffee shop. Like
Oh my
we're
god.
coffee oriented. Yes.
Is it like the
Yes.
smell of coffee in the morning? Like,
I wish it wafted up here. We literally
oh,
share like the same, it's the same building, same door. Like even our storage unit is like shared with them as well. So they keep some of their goods down there. And I'm like, I would never take for them, but I'm like, would they know if I took a bag of beans too?
just
No, it's
befriend
like in
them.
the
Just
open.
befriend them.
Right. It's the best. It's like Black woman owned, like right
Period.
below us. It's
Yeah.
so easy to just like pop down, and like the pastries are good too. It's the best. Very New York City.
Oh my god. But yeah, no, that's absolutely incredible. And I think events on the road would be so fun. But speaking of like the things that we're so passionate about and how like it becomes a bigger part of your life, I think it's one thing to be a fan of something, for example, Formula One, but it's a completely different thing to be in the industry. So I wanted to ask, how has your relationship with sports and with F1 or racing as a whole changed since becoming a recognized voice in the community?
That's a good question. Are you kind of saying maybe like now that I'm close to it, or maybe like in it, how does that kind of change my perspective versus a fan? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it definitely has changed. I think before before I really achieved, because when I said, okay, I'm going to start my page, I really want to be full Formula One, but like I do want to bleed into other sports and I want to talk about other sports as well. But I knew that Formula One was like that was the thing I wanted to be known as like a Formula One girl. And I think once I got into the paddock for the first time, and now I have friends that work in Formula One as well, and I ask them how things are going, yada yada, and it's different. It's definitely different, but I try my best to like keep my fan girl with me, um, because I think there's just something really special about that. I think there are things that will never be the same for me because I know how things work. I know the ins and outs of not everything and not really big things because at the end of the day I make TikToks. I'm not some inside girl, but there are just things that you kind of know. And there is a lot of red tape also in F1. Like certain brands I've worked with for certain race weekends, like there are things that I cannot say. There are things that I can't post when I'm at the track. There are just, there's a lot of red tape. So oftentimes, like I've turned down certain things because I'm like, I don't want to make myself smaller for Formula One, for this brand, even around a Formula One weekend. I would rather pay for myself to go to a race, and then maybe something happens or I get an invite and there's no strings attached. Because like getting invites is honestly the best. They're not asking me to create anything. That's when I can just create whatever I want very authentically. And of course, I'm going to still speak highly of the brand, whoever is inviting me, whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's still like it's marketing in a way. So of course, I'm still going to do all the things that I should do, but it feels like I can be more myself and not so like, okay, well, Formula One says I can't say this and I can't take a video of that and I can't do this. So I think I've come to now this point where I get to pick and choose more, what I want to say yes to and what I don't want to say yes to, because I still want to keep that like fangirl in me alive. I don't want to become so like jaded in that sense. So yeah, like I plan my races out at the top of the season, and like I don't want to only go to races because I'm getting invited to a race, like I want to go to a race because I want to go to a race. And if I happen to get invited, great. Like that's awesome. Then I can cancel my flight, or I hadn't booked my flight yet. Great. I get to save that money. So that's kind of, I guess that's an answer. I hope that's the answer you're looking for, but I think that's kind of how I like to approach it.
Yeah, no, that's a wonderful answer. And I completely understand that sentiment as well. When your passion is your job, you don't want to lose that spark that you have for it as well. So
Right.
I really appreciate how you kind of navigate that. And it's something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to, especially in this era where everyone's just trying to. I mean, listen, with the world the way it is, you might as well just pursue your passions, right? So
Yes.
So that is definitely something I think a lot of people can relate to. And you did touch on working in other sports as well. And we know that racing isn't the only type of sport that you have made content about. You've also done tennis and football, and we've definitely seen your manifesting post going to several different non-racing events. Fingers crossed for you, because you will. So I kind of just want to know, thinking long term, do you see your career expanding into more sports, and how would you like to see that take shape?
Yes and no. I think if I really take the time to sit down and to do what I did with Formula One with other sports, yes. If I decide that I don't want to do that, then it's kind of going to stay the same, you know? So it is really up to me, and up to, I think, where I see the future of like my brand going. And to be honest, like I don't know, like I haven't had that sit down with myself, because now I had these goals when I started my page in 2023, and I've achieved those things, and now I'm kind of like, ooh, I need to like do that again. I need to sit down and be like, okay, what's next? You know, I've been thinking about a lot of things in my personal life and achieving those things, and now I'm like, okay, professionally, what's the next step? Because I achieved the short-term goals that I had, and I didn't set really long-term goals because I thought my short-term goals were kind of unrealistic. And that just goes to show, like, I just cannot express enough. Like, you cannot sell yourself short, because if you are a hardworking person and you're doing all the things, like, why wouldn't they come true? And so I kind of tell myself, like, why didn't you think these things would come true? And like, they did. And now I'm like, okay, I need to reassess. So I'll get back to you guys when I know, but I'm like, I don't really know. And I have to have that really, I need to do a lot of internal and self work with like, where do I want this to go? Because I have so many passions. I like love the WNBA. I love tennis. I love, I really want to get into like the more other motorsports. Like I'm into motorsports in general, but I want to know more. You know, I feel like I'm the sport that I really know, the sports that I know the most about are probably F1 and tennis. And I'm a huge WNBA fan, but honestly, like I'm very biased. I have one team that I love. So I'm like, I need to like really expand. You know, there's a lot of things that like I know I could work on to be like a better fan, but also a better content creator, and a more well-rounded sports content creator. But I need to really sit down with myself and be like, okay, what's the plan here? Because that's what I did for my Formula One content, and I got to where I wanted to be. So I just need to do that in other areas as well. So we'll get there, but I'm still working through it, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Life is a journey, and you go along where it takes you. And I really like that you mentioned all the goals that you achieved so far, because you've done incredible stuff in such a short amount of time. Like you're so inspirational for how much you've been able to achieve. It's truly great.
Thank you.
And so thinking back on all of the teams and the drivers that you've worked with over the years, reflecting on everything that you've accomplished so far, what would you say is your favorite part of the job, and been what has been the hardest part?
I probably it is that every weekend or every like gig is different. I love that. I think it's a lot of fun. Like I've worked with IBM several times, and I've been invited to quite a few things by them, and like even that, like everything, it's different. You never know what's things change, but like the team stays the same pretty much. So like that's great. I think the thing I love doing the most is interviewing. That's probably my favorite thing. I love to talk, love to yap. So I love doing things like that. And I love when it's like a driver interview, because a lot of the times I feel like my like people are like, oh, drivers, like, I don't know, they seem so. I'm like, no, guys, they're literally just like us, like so serious, dead ass. Like you go up and talk to them and they're like, okay, what are we talking about? Like, oh, okay, we have 7 minutes to talk about this. Okay, cool, let's
Yeah.
go. Like they're just like they're not these like, I mean, yeah, Formula One drivers are millionaires, but like they really are just like they're just people. So I think that is like a really cool thing, because as someone that I've said, like, I just love humans. I think they're so fun and interesting. And it's just cool to like meet these drivers. And I'm like, oh, you're like a human like me. Like, we're just like, we're kicking it. Like, we're just gonna talk about things. Okay, great. And then I think, what was it that you said something I don't
The
like?
hardest
Or,
part. Yeah,
oh, the
the hardest part.
hardest part.
Yeah.
Not don't like. That was harsh. I think the hardest part is, I've talked about this often, is how last minute the world of Formula One can be. I don't blame them, because I get it. Like, we've got a lot going on. I'm very ADHD. I can't think about something I'm doing in 2 months when I have four other things in between that. Like, I get it. They have to focus on these next upcoming races before that one. But if I'm getting an invite to something that's 2 months like later, but they can't give me the details until like 3 weeks before, it's just a lot. It's just
Yeah.
stressful. So I'm not complaining. That's such a like me. That's such a like stupid thing I feel like to complain about. But I think that's the most stressful thing, is someone that's just like, I'm
Yeah.
very anxious,
Yeah.
and I just
I
want to plan things out. I like to
Mhm.
really have all my content planned, and I think that's like that really is the hardest part. And like I've gone to races, and guys didn't even know where my race tickets were.
Oh
And
my
like
god.
I land and they're like, "Oh, here's your tickets." I've landed and they've been like, "Oh, actually, you're in hospitality." And I was like, "Well, I thought I was in a grandstand, so I need to do a new outfit. Like, I need to, So it's just, which I'm not gonna complain about being upgraded to a
No.
hospitality ticket,
Oh
but you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's just, I've
Yeah.
landed and been like, I don't have my itinerary. Gulp. I don't even know what
Oh
I'm
my god.
doing in 3 hours. So and that's not even just F1. That's happened in other motorsports too. Like, I've landed and been like, okay, they got me a rental car, but like, where do I go? So it just,
Surprise.
you have to roll with the
Yeah.
punches. You have to just,
Yeah.
but I was a theater major. Nothing can break me. Like, it's fine. I've been yelled at. It's fine. It's
You
fine.
are professionally trained in improv.
Yes,
Period.
literally exactly that. I'm like, I can make it shake. What do I need to do? I got this.
Exactly.
Like, it's
Oh my
genuinely a
god.
great problem to have. It's not even a problem,
Yeah.
but it's just like, we're just dealing with it. I'm so
Exactly.
type A that like
Yeah.
I need to have like things like but like you gotta do what you, oh my god.
No, for
I'm-
real. It's actually funny. I was just reading an article about the Haas Godzilla livery, and the
Oh,
guy
yeah?
that was like in charge of designing it, and like he was saying how F1 teams operate on like a weekly schedule, and the entertainment industry operates on a yearly schedule, and that was like a
Yep.
massive point of contention between like Haas and the film studio.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They do things week by week. And so the only reason why I even have like my full-fledged itinerary for which I'm still waiting for a little bit of it, but the only reason why I knew ahead of time, like the brands I was working with and stuff, is because we didn't have any races in April. So they had the time to look ahead. Like this time last year, I just figured out what I was doing for Miami, and Miami's is next. Like I leave next week, but this time I actually knew 4 weeks in advance, which is so like not typical. Like it's usually around the 2 week mark when you know if like someone's flying you, or if you're being paid for content, or whatever it may be. So this has been a breath of fresh air because I had a little bit more time, but like, yeah, exactly like we said, like they really do operate week by week. And like the week of a race, like there will be, I know Miami's on Monday, people will start getting a ton of emails about events happening. And it's that the week of a race week is always when like emails, like invites, all things like, can you do this last minute? Can you do that? And it's just like, it's insane. So I've just learned to like go with it. I'm now entering like, this is my 3rd year of being a content creator in the F1 space. So now I'm used to it, but it's still something where it's like, this is so funny. Like you land and like, oh, here's your ticket. Like, okay.
Thanks. It's like, it's just organized chaos.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it literally is a traveling circus. So I'm like, I'm not surprised. They do what they got to do.
They got it right. Actually, while we're on that topic, I guess transparency throughout it's kind of like a huge part of your creation, from your race guides to how much you spend on a race weekend to how much you earn as a creator. Why is being transparent so important to you, and what made you want to be open to your community in that aspect?
I think it's just something in general that more people need to be honest about. Like, I think you see a lot of things online and you think, ugh, like things come so easy to them, or this is so this, whatever it is. Like, more people need to be talking about what's going on, because maybe the people that you are watching who you think everything is coming easy to them, like that's not the case. Like, and not that everyone needs to disclose everything that they're going through or what's happening, but I think it makes people feel like, I don't know, less alone, or I don't like to say more relatable, because I don't know. I don't think everything needs to be relatable for you to enjoy it, but I think it makes it just feel more human. And I think especially with the way that social media could be headed, like it is just great to have parts of social media seem more authentic and grounded and real. So if I can just tell people, like, I mean, even if I was making 400K, I would still tell people, and that might not be realistic for someone else, but that is my reality. So I think it's just really important to show people, like, this is really what it's like. You saw all of this and maybe you thought I got all of those things because X, Y, and Z, but this is really what it is. And like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, I hope that people know that I'm really, 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 like, when I'm doing my carousel and telling you how much I make, or like what a race weekend is like for me, like, I'm not sugarcoating shit. I'm telling you bar for bar, band for band, like what I think and how things were for me. And like, yeah, things are a little bit better because like I am a creator. Like I do get things like gifted or whatever it may be. And like, I don't want to, keep any of that from you guys. So yeah, I don't know. I just think it's super important. And like, if more people shared their experiences, maybe people would feel less alone, or would maybe stop comparing themselves so much, because that's just it. The comparison is like really, really hard. I think everyone does it. It's a superhuman and natural thing. But I think if more people were more willing and open to sharing the why or the how behind what they do, it would maybe like make that a little bit better. I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense, especially because I think a lot of social media deals with like, especially like a few years ago, I think it's getting a bit better now, but a lot of social media deals with like FOMO.
Yeah.
And kind of like, here's my experience, look at all this fun that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But bringing kind of a reality check to it is so important.
Right. I totally agree.
So one thing that I wanted to ask you about is And you kind of have experience with this from both sides, being a theater kid. Um, in terms of like diversity in any sort of media, whether it's TV, the stage, sports, etc., a lot of the time, at least to me, it can kind of feel like one dimensional. Like, you've got like the woman, there's the black person, the queer person. Whereas you bring a very, very intersectional and therefore a very real representation to motorsports. I was wondering if you can talk a bit about how your identities have shaped your experience in your career.
Yeah, intersectionality is super important to me. It always drives me absolutely insane when it's like International Women's Day or people are celebrating like women in motorsports and they're like, here's our women, and it's just 10 white women. And I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
you're literally not, I'm sorry, like, but that is not enough. That is actually the bare minimum. And hey, maybe some of those women are queer, that's great. But where where are the black women? Where are just any POC, any woman of color? Like, where are they? Um, and that is just, it's important to me to show up as a black woman, and I very loudly am like, I'm gay, hello, gay, woo. Like, I am gonna let y'all know I'm never gonna shut up about it. I quite literally never shut up about my life. So I'm like, you'll know. So it is really important for me to show up 100% authentically as who I am. And whenever my wife can come with me, I'm like, baby, you're coming with. We're showing up as this very obvious lesbian couple in this space because we do belong. And, I also know that I do have a privilege of like, because I've been told like, oh, well, it's easier for you because you're a femme, like, woman, you're like a femme queer person. And I'm like, I get that. I'm not going to say like, no, because it's true. Like, I do have a very, like, it's pretty privileged. Like, I get that. And I totally, I'm not ever going to say that that doesn't add to maybe why I might get more, more brand deals or more attention, whatever, over maybe someone else that's also black and queer, but maybe doesn't present as like femme as I do. So I'm not going to pretend like that's not part of it, but I think it is really, really important for me to just always be like loud and just super proud of who I am in these spaces because I often have been the only black girl on like a Formula One brand trip. It happens a lot. And whenever I can, if I finish like a brand deal or whatever, I say, there's this other black female content creator that I think you guys should have on your radar. So I do when I can, I always try to plug other creators, or like I had to turn a couple of things down from Miami and I was like, here are some other creators that I think you should look at. They are also black women. They are also queer. They're also, so I think, it's really important for me to be in spaces because I know that I can bring other people along. And I've been able to do that before. I've been able to bring other people along that look like me, that share similar identities to me. So, it is really important for me to be in those spaces, the spaces where you don't really see many black women and you don't really see very many black women that are also speaking about being queer and also speaking about, injustice in the world, yada, yada. So it's super important to me. And I love that you brought up the topic of intersectionality because it is a huge problem, especially in motorsports. And it just drives me insane to be like, look at all these women. And I'm like, there are no black women. There are no women of color. I don't know what goes through you guys' minds to where you think that this was a good post to post where I'm swiping for 20 pages and it's just all white women. Like, that is great for those women. It really, really is.
Yeah.
but it's not enough.
Yep.
It's not enough. Like, I just wish that they would say, like, we understand that this isn't enough, but we are proud to have these women or something. It's like they never want to acknowledge it. But
Yeah.
I'll hop off my little pedestal on that one.
Your little soapbox.
No,
that
keep
was
keep
great.
keep honestly keep going. That this is the discussion that we need, especially in a time where people think that, you know, having 10 women on your team of 1,000 is enough.
Literally.
Yeah. And intersectionality is a huge thing that Misha and I love to talk about as well too. So we're always happy to talk about it. I'm not gonna lie.
No, honestly, for real, for real.
And you kind of actually touched on our next question perfectly with that. So, as a Black woman in the motorsport industry, you honestly have broken so many boundaries that are very rare to see in this industry, specifically for Black women. And this is something that I think you are. I don't know how you feel about it, but like, as a Black person who is the face of something, which you are in your own right, there is always the added and unneeded pressure of one Black person represents us all. How do you navigate that kind of pressure while still staying true to yourself, but also recognizing all the eyes that are on you?
That's a good question. Honestly, there's a lot of noise in like the F1 creator space. Like, I'm not afraid to say it. Like, there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of just chatter. So at the end of the day, I know my goal. Like, I know what I want to do for myself and also for my community and for like people are not in my DMs. Like, I know the women, the Black women that are in my DMs who I talk to often, who are asking me about my experiences after a race, who ask me about like races I've been to, if they feel safe, you know, or other queer people as well. Like, so I know who I'm doing things for. I know that I'm doing it for myself, younger me, and for these other women and queer people that genuinely just like feel safer planning or going to a race because they saw me doing it. So I stick to the goal and the plan no matter how I'm feeling. I've also got pretty tough skin, so like whatever. I've dealt with a lot of shit. Like, I've called shit out and people have really gotten on my case. But I know that what I'm doing is for the people. I know what I'm doing. And I know that, like, I know my heart and I know where I want these things to go and kind of where I see, hopefully, where I see change happening. So, yeah, like, I really, it's that thing that they say, you stick to the goal, you stick to the plan, not how you feel. Even on like my shittiest of days, I'm like, I know that what I'm doing and the community I'm cultivating, or, you know, me showing up at certain races and me showing up and at activations with brands and yada, yada, like, this is going to help the movement. This is going to really move the needle. So I'm hoping, you know, I'm always having conversations with, you know, there's a lot of, you know, things internally, like things I'm not sharing online. You know, I'm always having conversations with brand partners and other people. And, you know, there's always things happening in my noggin in the back, and also other internal conversations where I'm like, things are going to change, hopefully, even if it's on a smaller level. Like I've said, like, even just me having events, I'm hosting group trips, and my group trip to Paris and Monaco is 70% Black women. Like, it's a huge deal for me. Huge deal for me. Cause like, they're amazing group trips, and I'm not dogging on other group trips. I've seen a ton of people plan them, but I don't see enough Black women. And so that's why it's important for someone like me to have had experiences in the Paddock Club, in the paddock with brands and yada yada, because then other Black women feel comfortable enough to spend their money with me to go to their first Formula One race, to go to another Formula One race, but experiencing it with a Black woman that they've seen, like, have these experiences that they want. Like, that's why it's important for me to do what I do, because these women could have spent their money with another person organizing another group trip, and they chose to spend it with me. And now I'm going to spend a week in Paris and Monaco with 6 other Black women. Like, it's just like, I could not have imagined this like happening, and I'm so happy it is. Like, I'm just so grateful, and I'm so excited. So yeah.
I'm so excited. That group trip is going to be amazing. And the thing that's so amazing about it as well is you're going to be in places with Black women where you guys can take up space in places where we're not necessarily always at. I went to Monaco in 2024, and let me tell you, it wasn't a lot of us, you know? So it's experiences that we don't often get, which is going to be amazing to have.
I'm very, very excited. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I love how many different sort of, not outlets isn't necessarily the right word, but spaces you're creating for other people in the F1 community, fandom, even beyond just F1. I think a lot of people follow you for you and your personality.
Yeah, flat out.
But your career, and I think this is going to be our last question for today, your career has grown so quickly in such a short amount of time, and you've achieved so many amazing things. As a relatively new face in the industry, and I say relatively new because the social media boom of F1 is new in and of itself. But within that, what is something that you think older or more traditional media can learn from the newer generation, and vice versa? What's something that you think the newer generation of sports content creators, journalists, and so on can learn from traditional media?
That's a good question. It's okay to change things up a lot. Even I have friends who, are in the creator space that were there before I got there. And we talk, and they're just like, I don't really know. Like, I feel like I'm doing this, and like nothing's changing. And I'm like, I think you need to keep changing. Like, it's the way that social media works now. God, like, you have got to keep, like, I feel like I'm doing something new every month. Like, your brand could stay the same, but like, things have got to change. You've got to keep up with the never-ending cycle, the never-ending algorithm change, So always trying something new. And I think something that maybe us newer people can take from the OGs is something I'm learning now is like, chill out. Like, take a break. Pause, baby girl. Like, breathe. It's okay. Like, Formula One will be there, or whatever it is will still be there. Like, it's not the end of the world. Let's take a break. Let's reassess. And something I'm really getting into is a lot more like written media. Like, I started my Substack, and I haven't really updated it in a while, but like, I think my like generation of creators, it was all like reels, all that, and now like carousels are popping off again because people like reading again. Thank God. Thank God.
Right?
Because for a while it was like no one reads anymore, which is still a problem. Like, people will be like, did you not read the caption? Like, it's still kind of a problem, but like, reading is coming back. She's sexy again. Thank God. I love that. So like, a lot of like, I think creators in my the newer ones, I think it's time, like, hey, let's pick up a pen and paper, or like start typing away. Like, let's do more written media. It's fun. It's chic. It's very Carrie Bradshaw, So I think those are my answers. I like it. I'm sticking to it.
Those are great answers. And reading is very chic, and reading will never die. Like, we can lose everything.
Agreed.
But we can't lose writing and reading. That's for sure.
Reading is essential.
From my resident journalist, Misha. Tasia, that is all that we have for you today. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We really do appreciate you taking the time and sharing your journey with us. And before we let you go, could you just please tell our audience where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me at Tasia Jewel X. So it's Asia with a T is how you spell my name. And then Jewel, Jewel. Yes, that is actually my middle name. Everyone thinks it's like a stage name. It is my real middle name. And then an X at the end on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Threads, and Substack. Pretty much everything.
All the places.
Love it.
This has been the Hold the Past podcast. I've been your host, Fatima.
And I've been your host, Misha.
And if you like this episode, please feel free to follow us on Instagram at Hold the Past Pod, TikTok at Hold the Past Pod, and anywhere you listen to your podcast from. You can also reach out to us at holdthepastpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for sitting here and watching this. And if you're listening on audio, thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please don't forget to share. We had such a wonderful time with Tasia today, and I hope that you guys did too. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.